Pritchard worked for many, many years, twice. Now this is his third run under Vince. He's had years. He never operated a show by himself. As far as the company's what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he operated in house shows and did stuff like that. But if I'm not mistaken. But
no, that sounds right.
He where he worked under Vince, pitching ideas, and they had the time that they clash. I guess here and there, whatever. But Bruce was more known to. I mean, he speak up, but he more if you speak up, disagree, when it was right times. But he kind of went along to get along. Between him saying pretty much around those lines of things, and also other people have on their own opinion of that too, as far as the wrestlers' past times. But he was not in Bischoff's spot back in, we'll just say, the Nitro Raw War. So Bruce Pritchard, he has more experience of going along to get along, and also coming up with ideas to be creative. So I think that's where it might fit him a little better. He got to know that, hey, Bill, that's what Vince wants. He's the boss. Bischoff's not really in that, never really had that necessary spot. I mean, I know he worked for TNA for a while, so I know there's, from what I understand, there's certain frustrations there too. But, and like I said, I wasn't there behind the scenes, but I think that's where the experience with Pritchard kind of goes, probably a little more better hand in hand on. That's my opinion.
You basically just said that Pritchard's a yes man, so he's able to do a little bit better.
Not entirely yes man. But yeah, I mean, he was, what I understand from people, but he necessarily wasn't. Just like more or less, if you go to work and you know when to say something to defend it, but also when to say, hey, that's the boss. So instead of me feeling I'm in charge, he's really the boss. So it's more or less, hey, pitch off these ideas, but the boss says no, then the boss says no. So I understand what you're saying, but it's not necessarily just a yes man. But
yeah, I know. It's just, that's what I'm like. That's kind of in a simplified version. That's basically what you're saying. Excuse me. Now, switching gears a little bit to AEW. So apparently Darby Allin found out the week before, or the day before, that he was winning the TNT title. And he found out the day before because he had to go take photos. And they're like, here, we need you to take your championship photo.
I heard something else about that story too, but go ahead.
Can you imagine, like, being in that position where it's like, oh, okay, cool, I'm facing Cody. Okay, well, he's held the championship belt for a while, so he's probably going to keep it here. And it's probably just going to be one of those days where, I have to try and make myself look good and make him look good at the same time. And then it's like, oh, yeah, no, we need you to take a picture because you're about to win the title. Here, we need your championship picture.
So what?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, wait, you sure?
Me? Really?
Nah.
It was the day, like a couple of days. I think it was the day before when he found out about that. He actually, all the boys went to their hotels, but he actually slept in his car. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I've heard about
that. I thought it was pretty interesting. He's like, well, when he came up into the business, he's broke. He had no home or anything, and was out on the road or whatnot, and so he wanted to go back to where basically it kind of started at for him. And I thought that was interesting. It's he didn't want to feel like, oh, I won the title, so it's now living up in the high life. It's still staying grounded and where he started sleeping in his vehicle and everything. So I thought that was interesting and respectable. But I'm not saying anybody has to go sleep in their vehicle when they have money in their pocket, but he kind of just, I think it's a way that he just want to keep himself
humble.
Humbleness. And I think it was interesting. Interesting story, interesting thought behind that.
Yeah, and one of my favorite. So, Darby's one of my favorites in AEW, and he has been for a while now. He's one of the newer guys that I really, really like. And one of the things I found odd is Jim Cornette, one of the people that we tend to talk about a lot, he actually had positive things to say about him, referring to the jumping on the outside thing. He goes, at least when Darby does it, it actually looks like he's trying to hurt them.
Whoa, wait, back the hell up. Did he actually give Darby on a compliment.
Yeah. He's saying at least when he jumps out on the outside, it looks like he's legit trying to lay it in and hurt somebody. He goes, I like Darby. He's a good kid. I kind of wish he would stop jumping as much because he's going to hurt himself, but he actually looks like he's trying to hurt somebody.
Wow.
And I mean, Cornette is kind of father time when it comes to a lot of things, and old man yelling at Cloud, but at least he gave Darby respect. And I don't know necessarily if Darby's trying to make it look like he's trying to hurt somebody or if he's trying to hurt himself. I remember watching him jump into the outside. I'm like, man, that dude looked like he's trying to kill himself.
To me, it looks like a 50-50 deal to me. Kind of 50-50 down the line, that one. But that's cool. At least gave him a compliment. I mean, certain things that Corny says is cool, but something that's just other things is like a little more harsh. But I like the old school myself very much, so I do. But it's like, trying to look at things. Yeah, I understand. Too many people fly to the air too much in wrestling, a little bit more than I would prefer necessarily. But Darby does it. It is really cool, and how he does things and switches things up. So it's really cool to hear that and see. Yeah, I enjoy watching Darby too.
Well, with the whole flying thing, I mean, that's a natural progression. A lot of these people grew up watching Rey Mysterio, so they
it's not that.
Replicate what they liked as kids.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I mean, I said ain't nothing wrong with flying. Just like you see, just a touch more than you would sometimes. For me, at least in my taste, would want to go for a little much more than what there is for my taste. But
right.
But yeah, you try to stay believable with it. So yeah, Darby, he's definitely believable with what he does. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the whole jumping outside thing, apparently a lot of guys got yelled at backstage on AEW for doing the same thing that Jim Ross had mentioned that they shouldn't be doing on this podcast. I find that interesting.
So they got yelled at for jumping too much, or what?
Basically doing the whole thing where everyone's waiting to catch somebody going over the top, which it kind of makes sense because it's kind of like, why are you doing the thing that someone just criticized? People are going to be looking for this. But
it's true. I mean, like if you're out, that's one thing I've seen a number of times, and not just AEW, but WWE too. That's what it is. It looks stupid. Mm-hmm. It does. It's just nothing believable about it. It's like you're waiting just to have someone jump on you. It's like, that's not believable. And it's like you're just putting on something that is already pre-planned. It looks terrible. So I definitely would get on their butts too. So definitely so. There's no reason for just sitting there or standing there waiting 5 seconds looking at a guy but who's going to do it in real life.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed that as well. And that's something that they have to kind of redo their timing and whatnot.
Honestly, I mean, if let's just say I'm in Jim Ross' spot, you can approach these guys, if they're not going to listen, period ending. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'd say call them out somehow, because you got to better your products. I mean, I get in some ways what they're saying. What we talked about last time is they got upset because I want to call them on the podcast, but hey, you're going to listen. You don't have to listen somewhere along the way. You guys are still coming up in this business. Mm-hmm. And it's just, you're going to do something to make our product look good. Mm-hmm. Someone's got to speak up. And I'm glad at least the guys that are back got on their cases. Hey, no more of that stuff. It ain't going to look, it's not making us look any good. So, absolutely.
Yeah. I believe in that it's a natural progression completely, but at the same time, you have to kind of make it look like it's realistic.
Oh yeah, I mean, would you want to wait for somebody to jump on you?
No,
or at least make it look that is exactly. So I mean, it's like it doesn't look anything.
That's one of the things I liked about Kevin Owens, because there was a match, and it was either earlier this year or last year. He was facing somebody that was a high flyer. No, it was Samoa Joe. He's facing someone that was a high flyer, and the guy got up on the top rope, and Joe turned around and he saw him, and then as soon as the guy jumped, he just walked away. That's realistic.
Yeah.
One of the other things you and I have talked about before was scripting promos, and apparently Austin was on Pat McAfee's show earlier this week, and Vince talk about how he had to make the appearance on March 16th of that episode of Raw, and that he wasn't happy with the promo. He said it sucked. He went to Vince McMahon and wanted to change the content of it. He said it was really strange. I wasn't happy with the creative because I wanted to sit down and maybe do an interview with Byron Saxton or something. Something to talk about something that was a shoot. Vince says, "God damn, Steve. People are just going to be in a bad way. Go out there and entertain them and do this promo." I went back to his trailer 3 times. So anyway, I ended up doing the promo. It sucked. It was hard. And
yeah, I remember that promo.
Why are you writing Austin's promo?
Yeah, I had no idea. That makes no lick of sense. Period.
He doesn't need it.
No, you don't. So go out there and let Austin be himself. That's all there is to it. You're going to be directing Steve Austin like you're literally directing a guy who was great on the microphone, even before he was Stone Cold. But it took him as Stone Cold Steve Austin, let him go out there and be himself, do what he does. You don't say, hey, here's what you have to say. No, hey, give a bullet point if you want. Hey, why don't you go say something like this? That's crazy. That's about as crazy as it gets. But to have these boys that write what they do currently, have them say something for Steve Austin is, no, that wouldn't work for me. But
yeah, it wouldn't work for me either. Someone shared a video on one of my wrestling Facebook groups, and I thought this was really funny. It was a clip from it was either I think it was late 90s or early 2000s. And Triple H was sitting next to Jim Ross and Jerry King Lawler, and there's some match going on inside the ring. Triple H is in his gear. That's why I think it's like late 90s, early 2000s. And at one point, him and Jim Ross get into it, and Triple H just punches Jim Ross, and then you hear the glass shatter almost immediately. Austin runs out, pushes over people in the ring, gets out of the ring, and starts beating up Triple H. And it's just like, yeah, I miss those days.
yeah. Those are some things you can't get back, but it'd be nice to see a little more intensity. A good guy that would be that kind of great character we talked about before. They would, they're doing pretty well, but they need to do more with him in that perspective. Drew McIntyre, man, he would make that kind of character just perfectly. But I don't think they're going to do it with Owens. But
Owens would be a good one too.
It'd be a great one, but I think it would be a great one. Honestly, it would be. I think but the next guy besides him would be great with that was Drew. And I think Drew has done a pretty good job. He's come up to speed us to save the day for the Legends with that storyline with Randy Orton. I think he did great with that. I just think that Drew's that kind of locker room leader on TV, and I think that's I think Drew needs to be more that kind of guy, more so, where he's that Austin character. Not so much being Stone Cold Steve Austin, but being the save the day kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think Owens is a better fit for that type of character. I just don't know any announcer that he would, protect. He won't protect Cole.
Well,
but I don't because Austin and JR had that kind of relationship.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but as I'm saying, who else has that kind of relationship? The only person I could think of that would have had a close that kind of relationship, not Austin type of relationship, was Taker and JR, but Taker and JR had their beef in the ring too, storyline wise. So I don't know who else you can have current times. I mean, if you're gonna have KO between who would he take up for, Graves or Cole? Obviously, it would be Cole. Graves can take care of himself.
Yeah.
So
probably.
Tom Phillips would be another one, but Tom Phillips don't have what you call a relationship with anybody, at least, anybody knows of. So, I mean, you see Samoa Joe took up with Tom Phillips a little while back, but as far as anybody that's current active roster, I don't know. But you can be between that and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.